Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Aryan and today we're taking this shot and turning it into this. Let's get started. Alright everybody, so today we're talking about 5 simple hacks to get better cinematic videos. So jumping right into it, looking at the first shot one more time. This is just a simple shot of my friend walking through frame, and the only problem I have with it is that it's kind of very bland. It doesn't really pop and stand out. There's nothing very filmic about it or cinematic. So how do we fix that? I have basically a list of 5 things that you can follow for better cinematic videos. So jumping right into it, number 1, your camera settings. So looking at this shot, I kind of want it to be a hero shot. I wanted to have a wow factor. Like if this was a short film, this is the first time we'd be looking at the main character. So to kind of achieve that, I'm going to shoot it in slow motion instead of regular speed. So instead of 24, I'm going to move over to 120 frames a second, and I'm going to move my shutter to 2/50th, and that way I can open up the aperture a little bit more. And to take it a step further, I'm going to throw on an ND filter in front so I can open up the aperture really wide open to f2.8 or 1.8 if possible. So number 2 is actually depth of field or blurry backgrounds. And the misconception is that you can only get blurry backgrounds with a fast lens, but that's actually not true. Another easy way of getting kind of blurry backgrounds out of focus elements is using a compressed lens. So instead of shooting at 24, move to like 70 or 85, or if you have a 200mm, do that. What you're gonna notice that if you're shooting at like a 200mm, even at f4, f5.6, you're gonna get really beautiful out of focus elements. So in this example here, I'm gonna move over to my 85-1.8, but you don't need to have the fastest lens. So for example, here's that same shot at 85 f4 as well. It doesn't look as blurry as the 1.8, but it's a lot better than where we started. So I would definitely recommend, if you're looking for a blurrier background, move to a more compressed lens. That's gonna help you out with that. So moving on to number 3 would definitely be composition. This is one of the most important steps in filmmaking. You guys really need to be looking at where your subject is in the frame and what your overall frame looks like. A basic rule for composition is the rule of thirds. If you guys don't know about the rule of thirds, it's basically when you split the frame up into 9 equal sections and try to put your subject in one of the thirds. So as you can see from where we started, this is already looking so much nicer. We checked our camera settings, we have blurrier backgrounds, and we're following some rules of composition. Now number 4 would be lighting. Now I'm not going to get into like a whole lighting tutorial, that's a whole other video for a different time, but what I basically mean is that you want to make sure your subject has no harsh shadows. You want as even as light as possible. So let's say if it's a bright sunny day, maybe try moving your shoot a little bit to like golden hour. And if you absolutely can't do it, make sure you have some reflectors or some diffusion available on set. You can buy like these 5-in-1 reflectors from Amazon for like super cheap. I think it's like 30 bucks, and they come in handy so much. First thing you can do is kind of put the sun at the back and then put the reflector in front of them to bounce some of the light from the sun back on their face. So that way the sun's creating like a nice backlight and they're still being lit from the front with the reflector. Or if, putting the sun in the back is not an option, I would recommend using the reflector. There's also a sheet of diffusion in the 5-in-1 reflector. Take that out and use it as diffusion to kind of diffuse the light from the sun. That's gonna make a massive difference, and you're gonna notice that right away. It kind of kicks the production value up a lot. Now in my case here, the light was already extremely soft, really beautiful, so I didn't really have to worry about a reflector. But in your case, if the lighting is really harsh, I definitely recommend you guys take some time in diffusing that light. It's really gonna make a massive difference. So last but definitely not least would be the cinematic black bars. Now there's a whole long explanation behind why they look so good and why we find them cinematic. I'm not really gonna get into that. Honestly, I don't really understand the whole thing, but what you need to know is that just throw some black bars on your video and it automatically just makes it look better. I don't know why, don't ask me why, it just does. So the only thing you really need to be kind of worried about is that you're not chopping somebody's head off. That's about it. Other than that, there's really nothing not to like about the black bars, and typically they make almost every video just a lot better. I did a whole other video on how to properly do the cinematic black bars. I'll link it up above, but that's about it for today's video. I really hope this helped you out. If it did, don't forget to leave it a like, subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys next time.